Hey guys!
Question for you. How do you get back into exercise after you've taken a break?
Good question.
It's Instagram nails, Barry.
No.
Instagram nails are arty.
Choose a colour and stick to it.
And I'll tell you what, my heart and lungs were absolutely screaming. It's one of the questions that has been posed to us by somebody, and we thought, you know what, let's do a vlog about it, because I've just taken a 4-month break from the mats. Now, a bit of a backstory here. In 2014, I started to train with Vic, who is my coach, my Sifu and brother from another mother, to become a martial artist. Now, unfortunately, Vic hasn't been very well. Basically...
Understatement. The damn bloke nearly died.
I think he did die, didn't he? You'll find out.
Yeah.
Keep watching, you'll find out anyway. And so, because of that tiny glitch, I couldn't go up to Slough and train with him. So if you don't know, we're based in Kent, in Folkestone.
That's a 2-hour drive on a good day. And we have to go around the little thing called the M25, which is like English's car park. English is England's version of a massive car park. And on a bad day, 4-hour drive, maybe?
Yeah. So we had to take a little break, obviously, because of Vic being unwell. He totally inconvenienced us.
How rude of him.
And so the other day was actually my first day back on the mats after a 4-month break. So I thought, well, why don't we just do a story about it? Why don't we just vlog about it and give you some tips about how to get back into exercise after you've had a break. So...
What's this?
Baz is defrosting the cars. It's bloody cold this morning. Right, Baz? So we're just about to hit the gym. I think we're going to go and get some breakfast first. You know what it's like when you start back at something? I'm feeling a little bit nervous. Wondering, can I do it? Am I going to be disheartened by it? You know, is it going to hurt? Am I going to be able to actually follow through with all of it? And if I can't, then what does that say about me? And it's all these things that we have when we've had a little break, when we come back to it, and we start to have all these little self-doubts. So, let's go get some breakfast. We'll have a chat to Vic, see what he's got on the agenda for us today, and we'll see what happens. It might be a bit noisy to film in here, mightn't it?
So what's on the agenda today then, Vic?
Fucking eating the sandwich in peace, innit?
Yeah, Day 1, back in imas gym. How cool is that? I've missed these mats. Always miss the mats. Vic is going to be, what would you say, beasting, coaching, gently coercing?
All of them.
All of them.
Yep.
Today, first session back. So what you got planned for me today?
Pain and misery?
Yeah?
Yep.
What, anything else?
Yeah, not really.
You're really going to relate to this.
Uh-huh.
Training, getting back to it after having time off. Because you just had quite a big bit of time off.
Yeah.
Understandably, with what happened.
Yep.
Which, if you want to know what happened, basically, Vic died. Came back.
Only a little bit.
Only a little bit. And if you want to see it, you have to go and check his vlog out, which we'll put a link in for definitely. But you had loads of time out. So what are your tips for someone getting back into training when they've had quite a bit of time off?
Interesting. So I didn't really have that much time out because I was training up in here. The minute I got up from my sleep, as it were, I started training in my head straight away. And even if I was just moving my foot when I was in the hospital bed, I was training fairly immediately. But I get what you're saying. So tips from time out. First of all, why did you take time out?
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
So like you have a lot of people who, like, for example, the guys that watch us, maybe it's kids' holiday or work gets busy, and then what happens is the workouts go out because they think if I can't get into the gym for an hour, then it's not a workout. So it just doesn't happen. So then a week turns into 2 weeks, 2 weeks turns into a month, we start to get aching pains, we start to go backwards. like you said, you'd even just moved your toe, and that was like still a progression forwards. But a lot of people would be like, well, that's nothing. I'm not doing like burpees and jump squats and that.
If you're doing more than what you done yesterday, you're getting 100% benefit of the exercise.
Yeah.
Simple as that. So if there are reasons, we won't use word excuses, because I'm sure there are valid reasons why people can't train sometimes.
Yeah, totally.
Better to do something than nothing.
Yeah.
Right? We're so smart that we make funny excuses for ourselves. Okay, if I'm not going to get a full hardcore HIIT workout in or something, I'll just leave it.
Yeah,
I'll just do nothing then, right?
Yeah.
And then, like you said, it turns out to be a couple of weeks, and then you're done. You know, it's such a hard job to get back into it. The body will tell you how much to do or not to do and all the rest of it. Obviously, don't. If you're doing like hardcore CrossFit workouts and all that kind of stuff, and you haven't trained for the better part of 6 months,
it's not really a good idea, is
yeah,
it?
not really.
Because that's what happens. People tend to just go back into the gym and they just throw themselves in it full throttle.
Yeah.
And then they end up injuring themselves.
Yeah, regress, yeah, for the sake of simplicity, right? Let's just say you were doing like clapping push-ups, that was part of your workout.
Yeah, because I do them every week.
Yeah, all the time, right? And you haven't done them for a while. Rather than just try and go back to do clapping push-ups, do a regression. Normal push-ups, you can't do normal push-ups. Kneeling push-ups, if you can't do kneeling push-ups.
Push up against the wall.
Yeah.
But I think that's important to know that you're not beaten. It's like Vic has just like smashed a world record for the amount of punches in 30 seconds.
1 minute.
In 1 minute. So like he's got a little bit of,
Oh,
you know.
yeah. All right.
I mean, you might die from that.
Oh my! So basically, I had multiple surgeries, and I couldn't really use my legs or my left arm to its full potential. So I ended up breaking a world record with my one remaining limb that could do the job properly. So
there you go.
there's always a way around it. You can always do something.
Totally. So as Vic said, you know, his arm, his legs were completely out. Even if there's a body part that is injured or you can't use, there's always another route. Like Baz, you hurt your shoulder, didn't you? And you couldn't train your upper body. So I said, train your lower body. You know, there's always something. We don't need to think just because one thing's dead, we don't need to do anything. So
there's always an excuse not to do something, right? It's very rare to find people who have an excuse to do something.
I remember you saying that to me, find an excuse to do it. I remember that definitely. And I also remember another thing that you told me, slow is fast and fast is
slow. Yeah,
exactly. Done. Really enjoyed it actually, and do you know what I found? Although I hadn't been up and done stuff on the mats, how quickly stuff came back, especially with the pad work. And I think personally it's really good for us to take a little bit of a break and see it as a good thing, because sometimes when we're in it all the time, we don't tend to go back to the basics. And the basics, I think, is the most fundamental part. And I think sometimes we should actually take a little break and go back to the basics. Don't you, Baz?
Revisiting them is fundamental for our growth, because it just reinstills the fundamentals, the basic movement, the patterns we do, the exercises we do. It really, really instills it. If we don't go and revisit them, they become sloppy. And when they become sloppy, we can't move forward quick enough. So by revisiting them, it makes us move forward a lot with speed. It makes us move forward quicker in the long run.
So what we're trying to say is don't be too hard on yourself. Do you know what I mean? Definitely don't be too hard on yourself. Session was really good. Learned some new stuff today, which was really good actually to learn some new stuff. And at the end, we finished with some HIIT training. So it was like really quick. You saw me going up and down the mat, going really quickly with the punches and the footwork. And it took me a little while to get that. And then Vic said, let's do it on the big boxing bag. And I'll tell you what, my heart and lungs were absolutely screaming. It was unbelievable. I've now got a bit more focus. Excuse me, I can still feel it on my chest, the old HIIT training.
What film loss?
I don't know. was going to be Top Gun or something.
Yeah!
So, that's one of your favourite films, isn't it?
Well, there you go. You've just seen it. My first day, my first session back at the mats. But we've got some really 5 top tips for you guys for if you are in exactly the same position as me. You've had a bit of a break from exercise, so what do you do to get back into it? So here are our tips. Tip number 1, find something that you love to do. Right? Don't think you have to go in the gym and be like, oh, I've got to get back on the weights, or I've got to go back to yoga or Zumba or whatever it is. Do something that you love to do. Oh, I've got something in my eye.
Tip number 2, go in without any expectation. Don't go in there thinking, the outcome needs to be this. I need to be working this hard. I need to lift this amount. I need to burn this many calories, because the first time you go back to doing the exercise, you're not going to meet the goals that you was doing before. Especially if you're like Loz and you had that 4 months layoff, it's not going to happen. Just go in there and do something, because doing something is better than doing nothing.
Tip number 3. Tip, but more of a reassurance thing, okay? Don't worry. There's this thing called muscle memory, okay? So what will happen is, it will only take you a couple of weeks for you to get back into it, and your muscles will soon remember. They'll go, oh, hang on a second, I know what this feels like. You're not back at square one at all whatsoever. Remember what Baz said in the car about fundamentals and going back to basics? You're not back at square one, so don't be disheartened. That's disgusting.
Tip number 4.
Can't even count.
Tip number 4. Make an appointment with yourself. Put it in the diary. Do not break it. If you made an appointment to go to the dentist, you wouldn't break it. If you made an appointment to go to the doctors, you wouldn't break it. If you made an appointment for someone to come and see you for a business appointment, you wouldn't break it. So don't break that promise with yourself, because you need to look after yourself. So stick that in the diary, make that appointment.
Tip number 5, take one day at a time. Just like I said in the car, today was the martial arts training, right? That's today. Tomorrow I'll do something else, okay? Take one day at a time. Because 9 times out of 10, when we think, oh my gosh, I need to get back into exercise, I'm not going to be as good as I was last time, we set this expectation and then we think we're never going to get there, it's going to take so long, then it all falls to pot. So take one day at a time.
I've got a bonus one for you.
Oh, go on then.
Take the pressure off yourselves, guys. Take that pressure off. Just go in there and enjoy yourself and do what you enjoy doing. This just sort of encompasses all these 5 top tips. If you go in there and you don't do as well as you thought you was going to do, don't beat yourself up. Be proud of what you've done and be proud that you've actually started something. You're doing something. So give yourselves a pat on the back just for doing it. Even if you walked into the gym, spent 5 minutes on the bike and walked out again, you did something. So be proud of that.
I just need to show you guys something. Today we have had our hair done. Look at my nails, how amazing are they?
This is what you call,
Glitter.
I can't make my mind up what to have.
It's Instagram nails, Barry.
No.
Instagram nails are arty.
Choose a colour and stick to it.
Who says you have to do that?
That is like, no, I'll have all of them, please.
Instagram nails. Guys, thank you so much for watching this. I really hope that you've got something from this. If you have, then like the video and make sure that you subscribe, because there's loads more like this coming.